Hey guys, it's Chris. What I have in front of me right here are two iStarUSA hard drive enclosures. I don't really want to consider this a review of the two hard drive enclosures. I got these because they were on sale because of Black Friday, and I have some experience using at least one of them for some length of time. So I just kind of want to talk about the pros and cons of owning these and what you can look for when you're trying to buy one. What I have from iStarUSA here, on your right is a BPU-340 in this unmarked box. On your left is a BPN-DE. I have a home storage server. It uses 3 BPU-340s. I've never used a BPN-DE. I just got a really good deal on it and I wanted to pick it up because there's a major difference between these two. This is a tray-based hard drive enclosure. This is trayless. Both of them are hot swap enclosures. I know well how the BPU-340 works, what the pros and cons are. I don't know very much about the BPN-DE and I'd like to compare the two. I have a home storage server, like I was saying. I've been having a problem with one of my BPU-340s. There are fans in the back of all of these enclosures from iStarUSA. They're pretty good quality, and I like the fact that they come with active cooling. The problem is that the backplane does not permit you to turn the fans off. There's a high mode and a low mode, but there's no off mode. I'd like to figure out how to make an off mode or somehow control the fans differently. Associated with that, one of my BPU-340s in my home storage server has a fan that sounds like it's dying. I'd like to be able to take this BPU-340 apart and figure out if I can replace the fan with possibly a quieter one or somehow modify the backplane so I have the ability to turn the fans off. This BPN-DE, I'm really taking it apart. I'm going to try it out just to see how the Trayless system works as compared to a trade system. I have some spare drives. I'm going to try it out, try and put together a RAID. Anyway, I'm going to unbox these and you guys can take a look. So what we have with it are mounting screws for all the hard drives and 4 SATA cables, which regardless of the color of bay you get are always going to be red. It's just what they send you. If you look in the back, you can see it's a pretty simple backplane. I definitely think I can get the fan out. You can also see here all the lights along the side. These will actually glow green and then go orange when there's hard drive activity. The reset as well as the hard drive buttons can be actuated. So the idea is you press the hard drive buttons to disable that specific hard drive, press the reset button to reset the whole thing, and then the bottom one's just the power light. So what I've heard is that pressing the hard drive button will actually temporarily drop power to an adjacent bay or possibly even all of the bays. So reviews have said if you want to hot swap from a bay like this, not to use the buttons and just to eject the drive. As long as you have the drive installed properly on the computer, you can eject it no problem. Usually RAID controllers are okay with that. So I don't actually know if pressing the hard drive buttons to disable and re-enable the hard drives when you hot swap them will actually cause other drives to temporarily drop off. I saw the reviews that said that before I ever utilized a bay like this, so I've never actually tried it out of fear that it would happen. So maybe that's something I can try out here. But you can see all aluminum trays, aluminum frame. There is some plastic on the front and back and stuff, but yeah, aluminum trays, solidly made. I really like the quality of the build. which is why I now have 4 of them. I do like these things a lot. In the back, you've got 4 SATA ports for each drive. You can power the hard drive enclosure by either 2 Molex plugs or 2 SATA power plugs. There's a button here for high or low fan speed. There's no option for off, like I was saying earlier. And then there are jumpers here. This hard drive enclosure can be set to alarm if the temperature of the backplane reaches certain temperatures. So there's an option, there's a jumper so you can have it set off at either 55, 60, or 65 degrees Celsius. And then there's also a separate set of jumpers here, which I've never utilized, which I'm not even sure what they all do. It looks like a way to... they're jumpers for the reset and LEDs. And I'm not really sure how to utilize those since I've never done it before. There's a jumper for fan failure detection, reset switch for the buzzer alarm and overheating LED. There's a temperature detection. Don't believe you do utilize those jumpers unless you were putting this into a rack mount enclosure, I would think. Although I'm not sure, I don't have any rack mount equipment. How the tray locks work, so like you saw, pressing this side is gonna spring out this handle, and then you can pull the tray out to relock it. When you're pressing the tray, and you press the tray in all the way, and then finish by pressing in the tab, and it should relock everything. There are rails that these slide on, so you press it in all the way, and then as the last action you press in the tab and it locks into place. To release, press that. The locking mechanism is just here. You just turn it. And it prevents you from being able to press in this. I can't say the locking mechanism works great. It works okay. There's still a risk that you could accidentally eject one of these drives or accidentally press the power button to the hard drive. Actually, in the future, one of my plans is to build a cover for the front of my storage server to prevent anyone from being able to get to any of these things. I'm going to put this one to the side for the moment. Open up the other. Which is strangely packaged in a different style of box, even though they're probably the same size. Whatever. Again, we've got 4 SATA cables. We have screws once again and keys this time, which means these have key locks, which may or may not be better. Looks like the size of this information pack is increased. What do we got? Hot swap cooling fan is 80 millimeter. SATA 123. Not this one. Yeah, see, this one lists that the other one listed that it could only do SATA 1 and 2. This one also notes that instead of green LEDs, this one uses blue LEDs. Cooling fan is 80 by 80 by 20 millimeters, and it actually notes in this that it's detachable. Huh. This one seems like it has a lot better detail on the piece of paper that comes with it. Here's the new one. So, you know, roughly the same size. Feels like the majority of the frame is aluminum. Once again, front and back are have plastic pieces, but these front doors are aluminum. This face is plastic, the back is plastic with the shroud for the fan, but this all feels like it's aluminum. Can't open the trays all the way, but instead of a red backplane, this one's green. Otherwise, they look pretty similar, although I'll have to take a closer look at them. Closing mechanism looks similar to the other one, although probably sturdier. I like the way the doors open. Let me try out this key lock, see how it works. Obviously, these keys are not security keys, really. You know, it's so simple. These are really just so someone doesn't accidentally open it. So, unlock looks like it's vertical. Turn it 90 degrees counterclockwise to lock it. And it looks like that works. Prevents this handle from opening. Back. It opens back up. It's pretty neat. I like the all black. I like the way it looks. It says, if the documentation's correct, let me pull up this other one so you can take a look at them together. I will reinstall the trays. So here they are side by side. Roughly the same size. Now when I turn them around and back, I'll take a look at this other one really close, but you already saw the back of this one. So the back of the Trayless, once again, it has 4 SATA connections. It has 2 SATA power connections, and that's it. It does not offer the Molex anymore, which I wouldn't suggest anyway. I don't like using Molex power. Once again, it has high and low fan speeds, but there is no off. And it has an option here to turn on and off the hard drive activity light. So if the documentation is correct, this one uses blue power LEDs and purple activity LEDs, as opposed to the tray version, which has green LEDs and orange activity LEDs.
Another thing that I dislike about some of these hard drive enclosures is that the power and SATA cables are on the wrong side of the rear side fan, such that when I put them into a full tower case, I have to cross the wires back behind the fan and cross in front of the fan's airflow to get them to the motherboard, or to get them through a grommeted hole to go stow away the wires so they can't be seen, and it makes it a little bit busier inside the case. It would be easier if all of the wire connections were on the side of the fan that accommodated hiding them better, although that might be something more tied to rack mount enclosures, the reasoning why those wires are on the other side, although I don't know. As far as towers go, I would prefer all of the cables to be on the left side of the fan as you look at it from the rear side.
Obviously the fronts are different. This one, the tray version, has buttons you can press to disable the trays and a reset button. The front of this one does not. It has no exposed buttons for disabling any of the trays. I did read some reviews that this trayless bay for some people fails after a limited period of time. I'm not sure why, or if it's being mishandled, or if it's just the back plane can't handle, or maybe people are misaligning the drives when they're being installed. Being that it's a trayless installation, everything's relying upon the alignment of the drive itself. But I don't want to say one thing or the other on that. I just read some reviews about it. I do like the way it looks. I mean, this might be the better choice for me in the future. I do like the all black, and at least this one when I ordered it online, the original versions I had were only SATA 1 and SATA 2. I'm pretty sure. And it's been incrementally updated in the background. Like the first one of these I got must have been 4 years ago, and it was SATA 1, SATA 2, and it actually had a switch on the back, which is no longer on the models that you can buy, and I still don't know what it does. Then I bought 2 more of these about a year and a half ago, and I thought those ones were SATA 3, but they might not be. This one definitely, when I ordered it, said it was SATA 3, but the paperwork that comes with it says it only goes up to SATA 2. I'm gonna have to take a look at that, actually. I'm pretty sure the one that I ordered on Newegg said this should handle SATA 3, so the fact that the paperwork doesn't say that, maybe the paperwork's wrong, that actually seems more likely. The paperwork has tag on the top of it that actually has a blacked out stuff, because I got the black bezel version of this, or the black tray version of this, and you can obviously see it said BPU-340 red, and they just markered out the red. So talk about some last minute changes to this paperwork. This one says detachable fan. This one does not say detachable fan, and it seems obvious to me actually on the back of this. This one has fan screws exposed. This one does not, which could be a problem for me, since I'm going to want to change out a fan on one of these so it matches the rest of my system. Although you never know, maybe I'll switch over these. I was able to get the Trayless bay for $20, which surprised me, seeing that the cheapest I've seen these other ones is in the 40s. Absolute cheapest. Normal prices for both of these are $80 or $90. I will definitely have to try this out though. It might be worthwhile just me switching out the bad fan tray with this one on my server and just deal with the fact that it looks different and try it out. Okay, so now I've unboxed these, gave you a little bit of a comparison and a closer look at what each of them looks like. As time permits, I'm going to try both of these out, put some RAIDs together on a PC and see how they function. Really, they should act silently as a pass-through. You know, the best thing I can tell you when I test these out is that everything functions normally. I'm not looking for anything specific or any specific output. I mean, you put drives in here and your system recognizes them and the fan spins and the lights turn on. You know, it's not like this has some special functionality. These are not on their standalone NAS boxes or anything that have controllers within them. You know, you're passing the SATA connection through the backplane to your PC. So when I have the time, you know, I can tell you all about this hard drive enclosure. I have 3 of these, and this is the 4th one. They work fine. I haven't had any failures with one that's 4 years old and 2 that are 1.5 years old. This one, you know, haven't tested yet. This one is the one that I'm really going to test more so and put a RAID together with. Also, as time permits, I'm going to try and take this one apart to try and switch out a fan, or see if I can switch out a fan. They look like they're both 80mm by 20mm thick, so I'm going to try and look for a replacement and also figure out if there's a way I can turn them off. If I'm stuck with high and low modes, I'd rather replace the fans with really quiet fans like from Noctua or something like that. I'm not even sure Noctua makes a 20mm thick 80mm fan. These are the kinds of things I'm interested in with computers. Hardware and being able to compare them. Sometimes it's tough when you look at, say, a Newegg review or Newegg descriptions or something on Amazon with really no description. You know, what the differences are, how they look next to each other, and what they have and actually don't have. Some of these companies don't have the best documentation with them. So this is the end of the video for now. I don't really have the time to take apart and put together a system to get these in here right now. It'll be something I do in the future, and I'll take a video of that as well. But that's where it ends for today. Thanks for watching.